y'all, it's Allie, and I wanted to bring y'all today a very in-depth kind of tutorial teaching class, whatever you want to call it, on how I do those really fun kind of mixed media backgrounds in my journal pages. And so I had a lot of requests for that, so I'm going to break it down super simple and kind of like the steps that I take. All of it can be altered, of course, and so I just wanted to do that. It'll be super fun, and it's on the new orchid paper that I just got. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll try this on your own. Okie dokie. Look at this first, shall we? Look at this awesome thing I got on Etsy. Look, I'm gonna put scribble sticks. I might have to cut my scribble sticks. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to cut them. Let's do ink tints because these are kind of all small and choppy, which I love. I think this would be better for my ink tints, especially because they're kind of just like rolling around in this thing and just getting crazy. Okay, no more time on that. Let's get back to the video at hand. But I just thought that was really cool for pastels and stuff. I got that idea, of course, from Wendy Brightbill. This video is going to be, oh, by the way, this is my insert decoration that I did last night. I kind of like it. See, I really like this part. I might put this on a tip-in or something. And the sun's kind of coming out of the clouds, so I apologize for the intrusion of the sun. But wanted to take you through kind of a step-by-step of my process as I was making pages like this, like this. I was kind of on a roll with this fun background, and I still love it. So how I start with my backgrounds is by plopping watercolor. Of course, there goes my Ingenuine right there. And I had this like awesome color combo that I used in my planner that I wanted to try. It's this one. It's this. I don't use this color often, but oh my goodness, it's kind of cool when you combine it. Manganese blue hue. I don't use this color often, but my goodness, and it looks like I have used it often. Honestly, it had a big old air pocket. And so I didn't honestly use this very much, but when you combine it with Serpentine Genuine, man, beautiful things start happening. So I want to try that. So that's what this page was in my planner. I'm kind of really forward planning because I have some trips that I'm taking in July and September. So I'm trying to get content pre-done and filmed and edited and everything. Sorry about my squeaky chair. Like that's just... I love this chair so much, and it just squeaks all the time. So what I'm going to do is start off by just adding some watercolor. Now, when I was teaching class, I think I'm going to do a YouTube video about this, but just to tell you guys, and I'm using my mop brush, I'm going to start with adding a little bit of water ahead of time. But when I was teaching my class, I noticed that one lady was like, I don't know how you plop watercolor. I can't plop watercolor like you do. And I noticed immediately what she was doing, and I can show you, was this. She had her color, and I can't even show, like, I didn't even do it right because I am so used to doing it the other way. I can't get enough of the color on. Let me use a different brush. The mop brush holds so much water that that might be the reason why. But she had this going on, and she's like, I can't plop watercolor like you do. And I was like, oh, you need more water. Like watercolor likes water. So take that and just dip your brush in the water and spread it out. Spread out that color. Let it move. Enjoy watching it move. I mean, watercolor is a whole another animal. It is like living, you know? And so this brush holds a ton of water. So let it move, let you see where it goes, and then take off that color or wipe out that color and go in with a different color and just kind of like see what happens when you start dipping in other colors. This is something I've been having a lot of fun. It's very therapeutic. If you just take Serpentine Genuine and that Mayan and then see how it spreads, like that Cindy girl does a lot of the time. But I like to mix these two. Yes. I'm filming right now. Yep. Can you hold on a second, please?
That's my last thing now.
Okay. So what I was saying was, is just kind of like add water to it, watch it move, just smush it around, see what it does. That's all plopping watercolor is. It's just kind of observing. It's like observing what it wants to do and not having control over it. I rarely know what is going to happen on a page. It's just so freeing and liberating. But look at that. Look how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. Water. Water, water, water. This seems to be saturated pretty good. There is what I have. I'm gonna force dry it. And I'm keeping my dryer kind of farther away from the paper because I don't want it to move these little pools happening. Like I kind of just want to give it the heat and a little bit of air, but if I get too close, it'll start moving these pools, and I like where the pools are going. If you don't care, then you can totally get close, but I'm not going to. Okay, and just a note, this paper had a lot of water on it, and it really feels saturated. The orchid paper feels pretty saturated. It does take watercolor really pretty, but you could easily tear this paper if it was not completely dry. So far, I'm still liking the 68 gram Tomoe above the orchid, but we'll see. I'll keep going. I'm going to finish the insert, so. Did you see what just happened here? Sometimes when I get impatient or I want the look, I can go in with the paper towel and just soak up, and you'll get these rings that form around the paper. I actually like that look. I like it. I like the look of it. I don't do it all the time. Like I kind of want to keep that one, but this one I can soak up. That one I can soak up. But it leaves these rings that form. I am so sorry. The sun can't decide what it wants to daggum do. It's really bothering me. I think I pretty much have dried this paper. It definitely has an awesome crinkle sound to it. And I think it's important to be drying between each process because, again, it felt so saturated, like I could rip it or tear it super easy. The other thing that I like to do at this stage, you can see on some of my pages, I'll have some darker bits so that I can do some mark making on the inside of them, like here. And marks are super fun and therapeutic, like right here, right there. So sometimes I'll go in with a darker color and just kind of make some blobs. I'm going to go in with that Mayan Blue Genuine because I don't use it very often, honestly. And it's a darker color and it's pretty. And just kind of go in and make some, see, this holds so much water. Oh my goodness. Whoop, there we go. I might go in with something even darker because I need it dark, like almost opaque. So, all right, here we go. India. And notice how I'm doing the same exact thing. Like I'm not getting super uber creative here. Like this is the same mark. Like it's kind of similar right here on the same side. So I'm trying not to get too hung up on trying to recreate the wheel, you know. But I'm just making some little blobs in some different areas of my page right here, just to kind of like, and I want to cover up. I don't want to cover up this, but just kind of like, you know, randomly. I don't really think about where things are placed much. Just kind of do it, and you always learn. If you don't like it, then you learn. I do things in odd numbers, though. That is something that you can do to help with the visual interest of it. The eye, for some reason, likes things in odd numbers. So there you go. Let's just go ahead and like do some more of those splats because that was kind of fun. It's hard to splat. It's like this brush holds so much water, but it's like hard to do things like splat. Definitely getting used to this brush. Splats are awesome. And honestly, there's certain colors that I don't like keeping on my table because, I don't know, Like dark blue is one of those colors. Give me pink, give me orange, give me yellow, give me turquoise, but this dark blue I don't want drying on my table as much. I don't know. So I'll get it wet and then wipe it up. I'm gonna dry this again. Some of this has not dried, but that's okay. But got a little sidetracked on IG for a second. Kind of like that look. That's good. Okay, so the next step of what I would do is I would start adding some texture via stencils. Like y'all have seen me start doing this technique where I take a baby wipe and I use a stencil and create texture. There's two things that I like doing specifically. The first, so here's a baby wipe, because you will need a baby wipe and your finger will get dirty. It's funny because I saw these little finger cots at Dick Blick and I was like, I know this is so crude, but they always remind me of little finger condoms. And I know that's horrible, but that's what they remind me of. And anyway, I was like, you know what? Those would actually be beneficial if I cared to not have ink on my hands. But I love having ink on my hands, so it's not a big deal to me. But anyway, I have all these stencils, and I don't think I have shown y'all yet the stencils that I have gotten from Stencil Girl. And I can do a separate video because they are there's so many of them. But I'm gonna grab some of them, the bigger ones. So here's some of them. These ones kind of look like those pods. This one's like words right here. This one's like flowers. And so the things that I enjoy doing are taking off the watercolor with a stencil, because a lot of folks are like, what ink did you use? Well, zero. I used zero ink on this next technique because it's just removing what is already there. And so let me see what I want to do. I'm gonna use this one. So this one looks like, I don't know what it looks like, but that's what it looks like. So if I take it and I go on different places of my watercolor, it will remove the watercolor. Now it could get dirty because of the indigo ink, but I mean, that's what it does. Let me see if I can do it. It could be the orchid paper too. I'm liking the orchid paper less and less, actually. Yeah, I think it's the orchid paper. Yeah, because it does not do this on Tomoe. Okay. So I'm just adding a little bit of texture by taking off the watercolor. Does that make sense? So there's that. I'm pretty sure that because this paper does not have a film on it, that is why it looks like this, but I don't like it. Then after I've removed some of the color, I'll add color back in with another stencil. I wanted to also tell you too, this is part of the kind of like something I would teach in an advanced class. Whenever you're using color, I learned this from scrapbooking a long time ago. If you want to have structure, like I actually don't like structure very much, but if you want structure for like a color theme or whatever, you usually will go 60, 30, 10. So like if 60% of the layout is the blues, okay? 30% of it would be the green, and 10%, just a pop would be another color. So I could add another color in here and just leave it very small places to add a pop. And so what I'm gonna do is use, I'm thinking going towards orange, but those will make yucky colors if I'm not careful. Wild honey would be pretty. See, I'm gonna use this for something else. Okay, let's just try mustard seed. So I'm just gonna take the corner of a baby wipe and dip it in. These little baby ones are super awesome for that because you just need a corner, you know, no big deal. And then pick a spot on my thing and then gently rub. So there's that. It's hard to tell. And I'm telling you right now, folks, this paper is not friendly to me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I wish I liked it, but I don't. It's kind of what we have so far. And then I can take this green color right here and do something else. Like, let's try this word one. Now, the one thing about the stencil girl stencils that I don't like is that they are super thin. So let me see if I can show you on these more intricate designs. Okay, like this. I don't know if you can see that, but on these more intricate designs, they like, how do I show you without that right there? That happened because I was using it. Like the little tiny pieces will lift up and bend. I don't like that. So I do much prefer the thicker stencils from like Crafters. I think it's like Crafters Workshop, and then the Dina Wakley ones. They're so much thicker. Stencil Girl ones aren't as thick and can tend to do that, which is a bummer, but whatevs. So like this words one, I mean, you have to be super careful when you're putting it down. And honestly, I don't know if it's backwards or forwards. Honestly, I don't care. But I'm just going to now dab it because I don't want to ruin the stencil. And also this paper is acting funny. So I have that now. And I'm going to go in here. And you can smooth out these lines after you're done with your stencil. You can smooth it all out like so with the baby wipe. So it's a little bit more, you know, whatever. So there's that. And I would say I would be pretty much done with I plop watercolor first. I do some darker spots for some marks. I remove some watercolor with a stencil with a baby wipe, and then I add texture with stencils and a baby wipe. So that's added a lot of texture to this page already. I've got some pops of yellow here. And so then from this point, I am going to add little elements like messy circles, mark making, and I got the mark making thing from Ray Massigman. It's very therapeutic. I love it. And the one thing that I'm kind of really loving and doing over and over and over again is taking some of that texture and not being scared to cover it up, masking with a circle. Does this make sense? Okay, so like, see, there's a bunch of texture here. And then I did a messy circle, and then I take buttercream, which is my favorite, and I actually cover up lightly some of that. So it's like this wash, this whitewash that I am really liking. I did it on the actual cover here. See? So like I covered it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick a spot that I like that has a lot of cool texture, and I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to do it first with a pencil, because what I've noticed about this slicky pen that I use, it's not waterproof, it's water resistant. So sometimes when I'm playing around with the paint and moving the paint around, it moves the ink around too, and it gets smudgy, and I don't want that. So I'm going to just kind of choose a place here that I want my circles to be. And I just really love this right here. So I'm going to, whoops, habit. I'm just going to do like a messy circle, just kind of give me a guide. And then I'm going to do another one right here. So those are going to be my two circles. It's super light. You probably can't even see that, but there's one right here and there's one right there. I just paint around it. Honestly, I'm going to use this brush first. So I take some white. This is buttercream creme coat. It's one of my favorite things to use right now because I just love that white wash over texture. And this is the Jane Davenport brush that comes in the little stencil acrylic kits. Don't be afraid to cover up stuff. So I'm going to first kind of give it just a quick circle here, and then I kind of softly brush it up like so. And it pains me a little bit to get rid of some of that texture, but it looks so cool, so I get over it. I get over it pretty quickly. Because how cool is that? That looks so cool to me. I just love that. It's like you're masking depth, like you're creating depth here. which is, oh, I love depth. And then you can even give some more, like just splotches here and there. You know, let's do another one just because I can. Let's see right here. I just love these circles. I do. And you know, I'm covering up this thing, but that's okay. No big deal. Just what does the page want? You know what I mean? Like I rarely plan anything out, honestly. It's a rarity if I'm planning anything. And I think that's the beauty of mixed media and art and just letting go and just seeing what happens. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. All right, so there's that. And I also like to go in with a smaller cheap crap brush and add some marks into things like, you know, this stuff. And I go in with gel pen too. This one's kind of getting crappier and crappier as I use it. But I love it. I almost like the fact that I don't know what kind of stroke I'm going to get, you know? Oh my gosh, I'm really liking this page. Oh, and I'm out of frame. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So I'm going to try this real quick, these areas of the acrylic. I think that's good. And I'm going to go back in with that slicky pen and just kind of messily go around them. Because you know what I love about messy stuff? It's like, see, I did that on purpose. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know I'm not going to be perfect. I've accepted this fact. So it's just like, let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. That's kind of what it feels like to me. So anyway, so there's that. And let's add, I have a little white gel pen right here. And we can add some marks. And this is so therapeutic. You know, I'm going to actually even go in with the Tombow marker over the acrylic. I don't want to do it on the orchid paper because I filmed a video recently and it shows the brush strokes, which is super annoying. And I'm just going to go in and color those areas over the acrylic and see how it moves over the acrylic, because I haven't tried that at all yet, but kind of gives it a little wash of color. See how it's kind of bleeding there, but that's okay. I meant to do that. It might be good. It might be better just for me to add some like Aussie red gold or something. Oh yeah, let's do that. See, I'm just playing. Just play, y'all. It kind of looks more orange, but if it's wet, then just soak it up. No big deal. Look, easy peasy. Okay. So that didn't work out as good as I wanted to. That's okay. Another thing that you can do is add stamps. And so I already shared this stamp company that I really, really love. Paper Bag Studios, I believe. And so there's a few stamps that I really enjoy using. I kind of want to add some more of that yellow mustard seed somewhere on the page. And then, you know what? Because I have an empty thing now, I can stick the stamps down here. I could either add some of this, and I just, seriously, all I do is, I don't even take a block. I just kind of burp, 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 burp. And if they're imperfect, then perfect. If they're imperfect. So I'm going to go and put this down the side, adding more, you know, stuff, more texture. I'm okay to go over some things if I need to. And we can even blotch it up if it's too intense for your liking. There. It's kind of smudgy, which is fun. And I do love doodles. I really do. And sometimes I don't really want to spend the time to do the doodles. So I will just let someone else do the doodles for me. And so I'm going to use this, I think I'm going to use blue because I've been using a lot of green and now green's becoming my 60% color. So let's see if I can do that blue and just do some doodles. And so here's a trick too. A little trick that I like is sometimes if things are too intense the first time, stamp them off on something else and use the second generation. They call it second generation, third generation, however many times you stamp it off first. And so I'm going to use this doodle stamp and I'm going to use a second generation image of it. So here's this. And I'm okay if it doesn't get all the way on there. Oops, there it goes on my table. So here's the first generation right here. Okay. And then here's the second generation. So it's just a lighter version. See, this is much more intense and this is not. And I'm just going to take the leftovers and do it on this side. So I just love it when it's imperfect like that. Look, and that's like a third generation. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, that's something fun. I don't want to go crazy because you can go too crazy on stuff. Let's see. I might do some more marks. Ray Missigman actually counts all her marks. She says that's super therapeutic. So I'm going to count. I'm going to go even bigger with the Feud Ball pen to make some bigger, thicker marks. And just to let you know, this is absolutely not waterproof. If you get any water near this pen, it is going to smear so bad. So just be aware of that if you use this for marks and then want to do something else after. But it does give you a nice fat line for mark making. I like to also like intermingle my big marks and my little marks. The last thing that I kind of wanted to show y'all, let me dry this real quick to make sure it's all dried. That Feud ink is a very wet ink anyway, and when you lay it on top of that acrylic, it can take a little while to dry. Like, see all the little dots on my finger when I was drying it. But yeah, so be careful about that. Oh, one more thing I was going to say. You can go in with another color, like an acrylic paint on top of something, just to give it, again, more dimension. If you wanted to even layer over this a little bit. I'm just kind of squirting straight from the bottle. Just goes like around here. Now this seems like it has maybe I don't know what's going on with that. Taking that little brush again, the little crap brush that I love, and just kind of creating even more layers and more texture, I guess. And I like this blue. This is Dina Dina Wakely's, I think it's Ocean. Don't want to go over my circles, but you can go too much. You really can overkill stuff sometimes, I've learned. And so self-restraint is something hard that I'm learning. So you can write over this just fine. But I kind of wanted to bring some more of that blue in to make it more of the 60% color, I guess. What are you doing, Howard? What you doing? I'm going to stop because I can go crazy. All right. Okay, now the number part. What I do is I have this number stamp and not stamp, my bad. This number stencil. This is like my favorite stencil as far as dates and stuff. And the other thing that I'm really enjoying now is this date stamp from the paper bag, which is like this sloppy date. One of the things that I'm really, really loving, and today is the 26th, so is to take your number and create a messy number for your date for your journaling. And I'm going to do it down here in the corner so you can see how cool it looks. And I'm going to I was using the Slicky again, but I'm deciding not to do that. And I'm going to use this Faber-Castell. It's an extra small just to write the numbers. And so I'm just writing the numbers, and you have to be super careful that everything's really dry because it can clog up the pen. So here's the 2. And then it's the 26th. So 6 right here. And I'm going right over all that texture that I just did. And this is India ink, so it's not going to move with any water or water soluble medium. So you see really lightly there, I have 26. And so I'm taking again that super crap brush. I just love that brush. I feel so bad because I took it from my friend. I even told my friend, I was like, I said, Avi, your brush, I've been using your brush. He's like, that's fine. He doesn't care. When he comes over again, he'll probably grab it back from me. But anyway, which will be sad. I might want to just pay him for it. He really doesn't care though. But so I'm just taking that buttercream color again that I absolutely love and my brush, and I am just coloring in that number. So just, and I'm not super picky about it being perfect, because the less perfection, the better. But thin coats, I try to do a couple of thin coats. And I do want to kind of see that outline of the number, because I'm going to go over it again real messy like. You might pick up some other pigments and stuff behind there, but that's okay. And if it looks super textured and gross looking, I'm just like, yes, that's what I want. So it doesn't have to be perfectly even as far as, you know, like the brush strokes and stuff. Again, far from perfect, the better. I'm telling y'all, if we can get over our perfectionism, which I'm overcoming it daily, oh my goodness, it's so liberating and wonderful. And you start appreciating just the small things that can happen, these happy accidents that are just like, oh, that's so cool. So I'm going to dry this. This paint dries super fast. That's another reason I love it. So I'm going to zoom in as much as I can. So you can kind of see like the outline of that date. And so I'm just going to kind of real messy, like seriously messy. Oh, that's funny. My thing stopped recording. I hope that footage is still there. I even purposely kind of like shake my hand a little bit just to kind of like get it, you know what I mean? Like messy, sketchy, messy. Sometimes I'll have smoother lines and then I have the messy lines. 26. And a lot of times too, I'll just write the date and just sloppy cursive. So, and I do like the tension of something bigger and smaller and dainty near something. You can use a bigger pen too. That's what I wanted to show y'all today. I know it's a super long video, but I wanted to show you like in depth how I go about getting a page like this for my journal. And for me, the Lexington Gray ink writes over just fine. And I will kind of write starting here and kind of skipping this spot, kind of going in between here, going all the way down here and skipping the circles and then kind of skipping this spot. And I think it creates a really fun look when you're journaling and you're kind of like journaling around all the marks and stuff. So that's kind of why I kind of frame everything on the side, some stuff in the middle, but frame most of the stuff on the side so you can still write, because that's the most important thing is writing. And you can still add some pictures and stuff if you want to. So I really hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know your feedback if you liked the video like this. If you have other questions of things that you want to see me do and teach in a slower pace setting like this, please let me know. I'm happy to do that. I just have to be intentional while slowing down and breaking things down in my head, because I can be Speedy Gonzalez sometimes. So thank y'all so much for your support, and I will see y'all later. Bye.